So I wrote down some words to the short video that is going to be shown right now. And she says in it, "I am the daughter of a slave, and I cannot forget where I came from. Life is about forgiveness. Free yourself of that burden." In other words, she's saying that if you don't forgive, you'll have that on your conscience throughout your life. Let's move on. But I don't think I could say it any better than how Sybil has put it in this short video. So Tony, at your convenience, if you could just hit that play button, that 7-minute clip, please. There it is.
As a black woman, I bring the gifts of my ancestors. I am their dreams, their hopes, their visions, their memory of what the slave masters have done to them. I celebrate my blackness, and I continue to be a mother, a grandmother, a community old woman that literally hundreds of children that I've brought up over the years. I've been a foster mother since 1960. In 1971, the borough put me up for an MBE, said the Queen hadn't considered anybody who had looked after children or community relations. I have to hide my face. I had to beat up this police at Lewisham Station that they beat this old woman. I went and battered him. I turned it down and said I didn't want an MBE because I hadn't a good enough dress to wear it on. And the reporter was so angry, it came to see me. He said, "Madam, what do you want?" And I said to him, I want a house, extra beds that when the police knock my door in the night. I want a wardrobe and a dress, and with all the dressing gowns and everything else. I want a cabinet with sheets and pillow slips that I can take in these children to look after them. "Madam, hundreds of English people will please if the Queen will give them an MBE." So I thought about it and I said, well, do you think you can put it up for sale or in exchange for what I want? He was so angry he just walked out of my house. When the mayor heard about it, sent the social services and said he wanted a report about this woman who is being rude to the Queen. So I then got invited to a civic lunch in the town hall. And when they was persuading me, I said, I didn't want it. And she said, "Oh, please listen to what the mayor." So he said he's going to give me the house. I said I didn't want the house alone, I want everything else that went with it. The officer stood up and he said, could I explain to you, madam, that is the first time Lewisham has ever been awarded one of these awards, and it's the first time you're the first black woman living in Britain, and you're living in Lewisham, and you're going to have this award, and we want you to have it. So since they agreed to give me all that I wanted, I took this award in 72. I mean, all this went on until 72 before I decided, yes, I was going to have it. At the weekends, I always used to have white children come. The social worker would bring them. This weekend, this white child, on Tuesday, they came to take her away. And this child started crying, went out in the garden and said she wasn't going. I understand the social worker said to her, "Do you want to stay here and call these black people auntie and uncle?" Another child came in and told me. So me, who was not as polite as I am now, went out and asked the social worker to leave my house. The director of social services took this child inside, I understand, and asked her why she wanted to stay there. She was 11 years old, and she said until then, nobody never kissed her and put her to bed, and nobody never said prayers. And this child said when she see me kissing all of them and covering them, she didn't think I was going to kiss her as well because she was the only white child there. And every night since then, although they all pretended to be asleep, I cover all of them and kiss them and cuddle them and pray for them and then leave the room. And she wasn't leaving here. I'm hurting because this last week I had to turn to a white girl from the house, and one of my staff reported and said I was a racist. So I'm still hurting from that. So that's why I'm telling you something about my background, that as far as I'm concerned, children was children. I'm the daughter of a slave. And I cannot forget where I come from. And as the sister says, we are the people who create. We are the people who educate. We are the people who teach. We are the people who are the providers. When I started a youth club in Deptford, a white minister heard me talking about what I was doing with the police and the black young people. In those days, black boys weren't allowed to stand up at a bus stop. And they used to come to youth club, and they used to come to this disco from all over London. And because there was hundreds of them coming, the fights used to happen with the white boys. The priests from Deptford used to be on one side of the road with the white boys, and I used to be on the other side with the black ones. We then got a building of our own because the church people was fed up of what was going on. The school, the head of the school, come to see me because these children coming in to school doing homework, and she never, all the years she was teaching there, it never. In this church youth club that I run, I used to have school. So when we got the centre bill, we asked them to name it, and the price was £1. In those days, £1 was so much. And I think 3 or 4 of them called it Moonshot. And so we had a library, either books written by black people or about black people. That was my reason to try to educate all who came there about their ancestors and what we were about. I started a group teaching young women about food. We did something downstairs to teach them about mechanic, how to look after their bicycle and their motor cars. We have got to begin to not to be ashamed of what has happened to us, but to think what we were before we were colonized, the way we were. We have got to begin to think of how we can educate our children. We have got to begin to love, to understand what it is to love your children. Over and over I hear people say, I can't forgive myself. I want to say that life is about forgiveness. When somebody do you something wrong, if you don't forgive them, they do you and they're gone. You carrying the burden all the time. Forgiveness is not for the person who has done you wrong. Forgiveness is for yourself. Free yourself of that and move on. Recognize who you are. Be proud of who you are. Let us concentrate on loving ourselves, working for our neighbors' children as well. And my plea to my whole community all the time is to observe forgiveness. Free yourself from the burden and set yourself free to work for your own freedom. Work, use the energy to love. Only give what you want to receive.
Thank you very much.
Truly inspirational. I felt a little bit of Bob Marley there as well with the free yourself from mental slavery. But yeah, and I just made a couple of notes. I wonder whatever happened to that staff member that accused her of being a racist. Did she turn her around, or him? I'm sure she did. And kiss the white child. She kissed everyone, I'm sure, and continues to do that. So there it is. I think that's a wonderful way to start. Back to you, Julia.
Thank you, Rod. That was absolutely great. And like you, I was listening to Bob Marley in my ear, you know? I was waiting for Tony to just segue that in. And we'd all start singing, you know? No, great. Actually, she was just a real force of nature. But when you met her, she's tiny. She's a tiny little lady. But there's real sort of, a bit like this one sitting next to me here, you know?
She's everybody's auntie.
Everybody's auntie. Absolutely adored and loved. And we were trying to get a number of people to pay tribute. We've got some, but it's that kind of time of year when everyone's busy or away. But I know that Juanita's put something up, yes. Thank you for that. Got her MBE in 1973, followed by an OBE in 2008, a Medal of Service winner for Guyana in 1987, the National Black Women's Achievement Award in 1992. She's also a fellow of Goldsmiths College and winner of Woman of the Year twice, not just once, but twice. This is a legacy that we all need to know. This is why we're all here. This is why we've given up our Sunday. This is why our rice and peas is, still soaking over there. It's because that this lady is so important and made such a contribution to the UK that she needs to be remembered. And lots of other people have asked us to speak on her behalf.
Yeah, I have a message from community activist based in Lambeth called Barbara Lindsay, who simply says, Sybil Phoenix is an amazing woman and has done an enormous amount of work to help others. We have learned so much from her about being altruistic. I'm so glad that she's still with us. Barbara Lindsay.
And that's a really important thing, isn't it, Rod and Mia? I know you agree. That
Yes, absolutely.
give people their flowers whilst they're still here.
Absolutely. And for no reason. Don't even wait for birthdays or anniversaries. Just give them flowers and put a smile on their face.
Absolutely, I agree on that. Now, I know that a number of people wanted to pay tribute, but they were called elsewhere. I know that Patricia Scotland is an old and long time admirer of Sybil Phoenix. She absolutely adores her and adores the work she does. She is unable to contribute today. I know the same with Baroness Amos, Valerie Amos. They're both away doing various things on behalf of the communities that they serve. So neither of them were able to contribute to this today. But I know that there's a very special poet called David Nita. Now, I'm not sure if we've got him online, but I know that he, Tony, sent a recording of an amazing poem.
We don't have that one at the moment. He's not online. We don't have that recording at the moment.
Okay, we'll try and get him up, no problem. We've also got something from David Michaels.
Also not on at the moment.
Okay, all right.
It's on your WhatsApp.
We might then go to, I know there's another colleague who worked with her, Joyce Trotman.
So calling Joyce in Croydon. Joyce, are you there?
I can't see Joyce on the list of names here, unless she has a different name.
No, Rod sent her the link.
All right, let me, you guys carry on. I'll make a call. She's
Okay. As you know, it's been
Sorry, Rod,
Yes,
just
go
to
on.
say, Auntie Joyce can't work out the link because it's not the same as the Guyana Speaks. It's done a different way. So she doesn't know how to connect. You could try her again, but
yeah.
Call her on the phone.
We'll try her again.
All right.
Whilst we're waiting, I know, Juanita, that Sybil meant something very special to you. What pictures are we seeing here?
these are pictures of Sybil that I think
Oh my gosh.
yeah, Black History Walks
That's her in Guyana.
put together.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I was just going to say, when I was thinking about Sybil, when Mia was talking about her yesterday to me, we'd bumped into each other at the Windrush National Museum conference, and it just immediately made me think of Claude McKay. You know, he wrote that poem, If We Must Die. Just her spirit, you know, that her complete awareness of her sense of agency and her power to do things. And it just made me think about what Claude McKay was just saying to people, that no matter what we face, because I know Sybil Phoenix faced a lot of racism when she first arrived in the UK in the 50s. And of course, I think the Moonshot got burnt down. Was it during the New Cross fires?
It was around that time. Yes.
It was somewhere around that time, yeah. And then she rebuilt it within, like, had it reset up again within 4 years or something like that. So it just reminded me of that poem. So I think while we're waiting, I'll just share that poem, if you don't mind. I'll share it with you. So it says, if we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, let us die nobly, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honour us though dead. O kinsman, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men, we face the murderous, cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back. And I guess it was more, I mean, I wouldn't just, you know, I just think Sybil was always, well, she says in her own clip, a very forgiving person, but she was also a very strong person who didn't let anything stand in her way or stand in the way of what she wanted to achieve. And I guess that's what that poem kind of evoked for me.
It's very strong, and it really does talk to her and everything she stood for. I agree with you there. Whilst I'm on, just a reminder of those people who are listening in, we do have a question area. So if you'd like to put any of your thoughts or questions in the chat, and we'll come to them through the event. So there's a chat element. Just put any comments you have or anything you want to put in that chat. That would be absolutely brilliant. Tony, I've just sent you again the David Meter thing. I'm hoping that he might come online very soon. In the meantime, there was another contributor who was unable to be here today, and that's Ansel Wong. Now, Ansel Wong has been involved with Carnival, Notting Hill Carnival, for many, many years. We saw him on Thursday at Westminster, where some of his artists paraded with their amazing costumes. And just so you know, if you're keen to be part of Notting Hill Carnival, they're still keen to have people. So Juanita, you know, you got your feathers ready, you know, you got your pom-poms, you get everything. Rod, I'm not sure what you're going to be wearing, but I'm sure it's something fitting. So we will see.
Rod always likes being covered in mud for Carnival. He always joins the
mudders. Oh yes, of course.
Guyanese mud head.
Guyanese mud head. I remember going to Notting Hill one year. I think I was stupid and I wore white. And I was approached by the mudders. Ray and all those, Blaze and all those crazies. And needless to say, by the end of a few minutes, I was covered in mud. Yeah, by them. So we have got some questions. Keep those questions coming. Can I just read a little bit from Ansel, please? All right, whilst we're here. So he was unable to be part of this today. As I said, there's so many Windrush events happening. There's one at Tilbury. Now, this is what Ansel Wong says. In Trinidad, we have a name for our powerful matriarchs. It's a creolized word, Macomer, the mother at the front of the family, the dominant force driving the whole neighborhood forward. Together, disciplined, Sybil was the personification of the matriarchal leader. Yet that stern expression that symbolized her quizzical character as she felt you are not serious, but with empathy and warmth. And my worry is the polite, the telling off that she used to give that told you what was coming next. Yeah, she didn't hold prisoners, Sybil. An uncompromising expression of what you should or should not do. Sybil is a guru, matriarch, leader, mother, all of those things that make her a revered and respected pioneer of our community. I cannot be there, this is Ansel Wong speaking, I cannot be there to deliver this message, but I've entrusted it to, he named his other Macomer, Mia Morris, and myself to deliver it. He said, 2 pillars, 2 totems, 2 Amazons of the Caribbean. So that is Ansel Wong's tribute to the amazing Dame Sybil Phoenix, which is absolutely lovely. Macomer, I like that.
I always liked, well, and she liked the fact that her surname became, I think she was, her maiden name was Marshall and she became Phoenix. But I loved that when the Moonshot was burnt down, that she said, my name is Phoenix and I will build a new center from the ashes of this club, so help me God. And of course she did, and I believe Prince Charles was present at the opening in 1981. Yeah, but I just said that the whole fact that her name was Phoenix just meant nothing was ever going to get in her way, was it?
That's right. Rising from the ashes.
She's rising,
From the
exactly.
ashes. Yeah.
Just
I've
a quick
had a
word
comment.
on Joyce Trotman. She wants to apologize. She says, listen, I'm the same age as Sybil Phoenix. I'm 91. And I want to just apologize. I'm a little tired. I got home at 1 o'clock this morning.
Did she tell you why, Rod?
She said she went to some party.
Earlier. Listen, that Joyce, that Auntie Joyce was at a party last night. That's why she came in at 1 o'clock.
And she went to her church.
That I had to come back and rest.
She had to rest. She had to rest.
But
she
not
said
her. And then she went to Bible study, I think, this morning as well.
That's right. So she said, beg off of me, child, beg off of me. I said, okay. So she said, send me the recording.
Okay, we've got a number of people who can't seem to get online. We've got Alex Pascal. Would you, Tony, is it possible to give him a call rather than have him on a phone?
Yeah, you can ring him if you want, sure.
Well, he's on the phone here now.
Which would you prefer?
Phone is fastest. So
say it again.
Yeah, the phone is fast if you have on the phone to use the phone.
Okay, Alex,
speak.
Call me back.
No, Alex, speak up.
By the way, Rod, I think you said Auntie Joyce was 91. Is that right?
I made a mistake. Sorry.
I was going to say, because she's 96 in October,
96.
right?
Yeah, it's 96.
Still partying.
It's because she doesn't behave as though she were 96. You would think she was like a couple of decades younger, but
right. Just to say, I've got Alex Pascal who's going to start speaking now. Alex, take it away.
Mia, Juliet, it's nice. I've just been on a marathon and I've just got to Walthamstow to see my grandchildren. So I've managed to say I'm putting myself in a corner to have a little chat. Right. Well, when it comes to Sybil, I go back to 1974 because Sybil was the #1 person talking about fostering of children on Black Londoners when we launched it on the first program. And then in 74, I also did a project for Ask With Give from the Community Relations, Fiesta 74, a one-week festival, and the Guyanese High Commission, his wife, Lady Sarah Lou Carter, beauty queen of the Americas.
Yes.
Lady Sarah Lou Carter, through Sybil, arranged with High Commissioners' wives to do 80 dishes around the world. So all the High Commissioners' wives themselves cooked a meal, and we brought this meal to the Commonwealth Institute to meet a vast wealth of people, and that also begun something that gave another development to Caribbean restaurants. And that day was one of the most fascinating days in the history of Sybil, Lewisham, and so on. Then I go back to the Pagnell Street Center, that little center before we became this big thing that it is now. And her involvement with the youth, Ross Howell's there, a priest, Malcolm Johnson, Astrid Gibb, Bobo Viveki, men and women of that period, all through Sybil, worked to change that atmosphere of criticism in Lewisham. And the biggest one for Sybil is taking in Amza Ruddock after the New Cross fire, which Amza herself, before she passed along, but after the fire, spoke, because it is there at the house of Sybil. In Sybil's bed, Amza was lying when I interviewed. So Sybil, Lewisham Waste Center that I'm part of the funding of, and others And a lot of things that happened there with the Guardian period, in the period of the time. Sybil had a hand in it. Again, the Pentecostal church that I did the live service on Good Friday, April 1978. Part of all of this was in Lewisham. And just a marvelous time. Sybil's presence with her husband, who's always been a quiet person at the back.
Oh, are you still there, Alex?
We got cut off.
Yeah, we're back now, Alex.
Are we still there?
You're still there.
Yes.
We got you're live in the studio.
Okay, fine. And so then I did something with Black Londoners where Mavis steered. We tricked Sybil to bring her in to give her a special award. And we hid the people in the different rooms because Cilla Black used to do it, not Cilla Black, Cilla Black, yes, used to do
surprise.
surprise.
Yes.
And Mavis had to pretend a big cry to bring Sybil into that studio. And all the people came from the back rooms, and Sybil was so shocked that she was vexed.
Yes.
I remember that. So Sybil has given a lot to our community. And it was something when the press turned up and for that first meeting we had in New Cross, after the New Cross fire, Sybil's voice is always there. She was so annoyed of the attitude of the media and others who were found very active in the whole presence of what was happening. And Sybil blew her top. I agreed with her blowing her top. When I come back to where we started the march, Sybil intended to sing "We Shall Overcome." And I don't think the crowd really liked it because we had passed the time for begging to us to overcome. Sybil wasn't very pleased with the beginning, but she was very happy with how it ended. Sybil, we should salute you for all of this and other things, particularly with the loss of your own children or child, and the way you rallied with the communities and the way they rallied with you. There was a politician, local radio, a local politician, Guyanese brother, who were there, and Marvin Henry. I can't remember all the names as age comes by, but I always remember that first interview where we spoke to you about the fostering of children, because you were part of the beginning, program 1 of Black Londoners, BBC Radio London, when we were at Hanover Square. Mia, you know Hanover Square.
I was there. I was there.
Yeah, I live in Marylebone High Street.
I used to always get lost leaving Oxford Street.
Yeah. So for that, Roz is now in a home.
Yes.
But Roz and the sound system and the way the boys used to gather, Just Shaka, that big program I had at the Crypt for reggae, for Sound System Festival. The priest who was there, the priest was bad talking me to myself, but when he got to know it was me, he was shocked.
So many memories, Alex.
Ladywell Hall, where I had this big competition for the reggae people.
Yeah.
And it was something else. There was only one wire left hanging. If Shaka was not there, all the wires came down. So I called that piece of present Shaka wire.
Okay. Alex, you have so many memories, so much to tell us.
Yes.
You know?
Yes,
This is a program in itself.
Juliet and Mia, we have to pay respect.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is why we do it, Alex. This is why we do this.
Yes. And this is why we ask people like you, Alex, who you know You know?
Well, I still have a lot of more roads to go.
I know.
Still have and I'm batting center wicket.
Good for you.
All right.
Well, Alex, I've got a rock, so I'm going to show
Right.
people my rock and to say, Alex, you have been a rock in our community, just like Sybil, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right,
I
love-
had to make this moment.
Thank you. Love
Wonderful.
to Joyce
And the
Deirdre,
grandchildren.
and the twins and the little
Yeah.
one, all of them.
Fantastic,
I
Alex.
came up to spend the evening.
Oh, wonderful.
Lovely boys.
Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, thank you. That was the amazing Alex Pascal. You know, at some stage we'll have to do a tribute to him if he agrees. Now I can see David on the screen. David Michaels. David Michael, is he stalled, or is that a picture of him?
That's a
It's a video.
Oh, it's a
Oh,
video.
it's him.
Excellent.
My name is David Michael, and I would like to join the tributes to Mrs. Sybil Phoenix. I first met Mrs. Phoenix when I came to Lewisham as a pioneering police officer. 19 years old, the first person of African heritage to serve in the Metropolitan Police in Lewisham. I was quickly followed by a lady called Monica Good, and Mrs. Phoenix put her arms around us and gave us immeasurable support in those days. Mrs. Phoenix provided a haven for young people, especially young black men. Many of you have an understanding of the modern day term of a hostile environment, but if you can imagine in the early 1970s, where there were little or no safeguards, and the young men and the young people really appreciated the haven that Mrs. Phoenix provided at the Lewisham Way Youth Centre and the Youth Centre in Pagnell Street, the Moonshot Youth Centre. Mrs. Phoenix was involved in brokering the attendance of our now King Charles III to come to Lewisham to assist with the tensions that were happening at that time. Mrs. Phoenix is renowned for her fostering of hundreds and hundreds of children over the years, and also of the amazing work she's done with the Marsha Phoenix Memorial Trust, which is in memory of her daughter she lost in a fire years ago. The charity provides shelter, pastoral care and educational support for homeless young women in the borough. And over the years, we've seen many of these young women come back with their own families to show how much they benefited and how much they owed to the care and support that Mrs. Phoenix provided. Mrs. Phoenix excels in all areas that she's involved in, whether as a ceremonial mayor of Lewisham, which she did, as a free person of the Borough of Lewisham, as a Methodist minister. And one of the enduring things that I will always take with me about my interactions with Mrs. Phoenix is her personification of calmness and serenity. I wish you a wonderful day, Mrs. Phoenix, and thank you for everything you've done for Lewisham and for the communities much, much wider. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. That was David Michael, who's in this country, which is very good to see. And it's amazing. So now we have David Nita.
All to the Windrush generation. Phenomenal people of the Windrush generation. You're the jewels in the crown of this, your own nation. You built it. You shaped it. You lived in it. You contributed to it. United in your ingenuity and wisdom, you constructed a better United Kingdom. Now you're far more than the name etched on the stern of a passenger vessel. Bereft of your essential presence, Britain is like a mortar without a pestle. As the bow pointed the way to Tilbury Dock, a new destiny to unfold on a new island rock. The memory so sweet of your recent island paradise. And now to Queen and Country, making a valuable sacrifice. So we thank you for your excellent work ethic and for always giving your very best, with your conscientious and kind service to the essential and beloved NHS. We thank you for your motivation on the underground buses and overground, enabling us to gather together and also effectively commuting all around. We thank you for your expertise in the factories and industry, generating growth and jobs and boosting the economy. We thank you for your intellect in the educational institutions, equipping waves of students and inspiring future generations. We thank you for your prowess in business and entrepreneurialism. You stimulate fresh ideas and excite enthusiasm. Thank you for throwing partner and purchasing your property, teaching a nation about thrift and ownership and also philanthropy. Thank you for your diligent service in the military, defeating racism and fascism and Hitler's tyranny. Thank you for your calling, for your service in the faith community, uplifting morality and enhancing spirituality. Thank you for your creativity and consciousness you put in your art and your music. You cause us to reflect and reset and protect and project our lives so epic. We thank you for the grace and power you bring to sports and culture. You're an absolute sensation. You're the epitome of a utopian future. And for all your contributions, your wonderful personhood, your very essence, we thank you for who the Lord made you. You truly make a positive difference. Now, your diversity has been targeted to be assaulted by an onslaught of hostility. But no weapons formed against you shall prosper. Amen. Fear not as we walk through this valley. Eternal divine, deliver the oppressed as we journey through this land. We receive your strength and wisdom as you guide us with your loving hand.
And that was the amazing David Nita, and he did that presentation in front of many of the Windrush elders of the House of Commons the other day. And David Nita is a barrister. David Nita is known as the people's poet and the people's lawyer, the people's politician. He's an amazing man. And a little bit of history, I'm not sure if everybody knows, but on Thursday when we were at the Westminster, he was there with his long-term partner, who was the amazing Heather Small from M People. And also in the audience was their son, James, who is a Labour councillor for Westminster Council. But David really wanted to talk. He wanted to share this poem, which talks about the Windrush, talks about the contribution in arts and music and education and in every single aspect of life in the UK. The contribution of people from the Caribbean in every single aspect of life in the UK. And he particularly wanted to say that poem. If he were available, I know he would have wanted to say something about Sybil. He just, when we said we were doing this, he just went wild. He said she is his heroine. But unfortunately, he's not able to make it here today, but at least we were able to show that tribute. Thank you.
Right. I now have a tribute from Herman Ousley, who's unable to join us today. And he's someone that is a long-term supporter, friend, and colleague to Sybil Phoenix. Sybil has been a stalwart for more than 6 decades in South London, especially for young Black people. She has also been acknowledged as a champion for Black communities across London and across England, wherever they're settled and experience difficulties. Sybil was always visible in support of families as a whole. Her strength included a willingness to engage with all sides of conflict to find solutions, championing the importance of equal educational opportunities for young Black people. Her willingness to speak truth to power and a commitment to grassroots projects caring for those sections of communities not having their particular needs met by local and national state provision. I personally learned so much from Sybil. I cannot imagine that there's anyone who knows Sybil, and especially if they have not met her, does not respect and admire her. My mother, before she died in 2014, had the highest respect and love for Sybil, and I know that Sybil was, of course, of strength and love for my mum, which is much appreciated. Also, the late great Roy Saw and I always enjoyed visiting Sybil at her home, enjoying her culinary delights in her kitchen and chatting about the ongoing struggles we all face. Sybil, you are a star, a legend, and someone who made a positive difference to helping achieve better race relations in Britain through your insight, action, and your public service ethic in serving and caring about others. I thank you for all the wonderful memories you have given us and cannot tell you enough how much you are loved and treasured. And so it goes without saying, we also treasure you, Herman, and you are a rock as well.
And it's interesting, Herman mentioned Roy Saul, who again, he was known as the preacher of Hyde Park, wasn't he? He'd be on his soapbox, amazing people. I mean, these were real pioneers. These were real characters. Forgive me, but I don't see the same characters nowadays. Juanita, Rod, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
We need to find them. They're out there somewhere, but some people just don't want to.
Yeah, it's really interesting because there are a lot of activists, but there's definitely something about that generation. I was talking to some people yesterday about this exact same thing, and we were trying to work out what was different. And I don't know if it's because society itself has changed so much and we're living in this digital age where we're so preoccupied with completely different things. We're not, that was a such a different kind of social environment that I guess it produced very different people. But yeah, very much, and there'll never be another Roy Saw or another Sybil Phoenix. That's for sure.
That's right. Or Arif Ali.
Or Arif, yeah, amazing.
On and on,
Yeah.
And there's something interesting. I don't know, I was talking to some people about it. Has it anything to do with the fact that they're across 2 continents? They're from a different world and then they're here.
I was wondering that as well. I was going to say that's something we haven't spoken about yet, but because I know she was the founder of something called Guyana Connection, I think. So she raised somewhere in the region of £45,000 for computer equipment that was distributed amongst 5 different schools in Guyana. So even though she was doing so much here, she never forgot about Guyana either. She carried on serving there, sometimes in a role as a Methodist minister, sometimes as a fundraiser. But it is really interesting about what does it mean to straddle 2 different places, and what's the impact on the way it shapes you? I don't know. I mean, maybe it has something to do with that, but
yeah, it's like Jessica and Eric Huntley as well. There's just I told my sister I was doing this today, my elder sister Claire. I was born in Guyana, we all were, and she said, oh, she has such wonderful memories. Claire was an educator, worked in a primary school, and she has such wonderful memories of meeting Sybil and just talking. And like Sybil, Claire and her husband Eddie, they were part of a Guyanese charity which sent computers back to Guyana to continue. It's all about education.
Yeah.
Educating the young, making sure that they can compete on a level playing field.
It's finding a way, essentially, of keeping your feet in both camps, both abroad and here, and doing
Yeah.
what we can to make a difference. Now, I was involved with Youth Aid in Lewisham, which Sybil brokered the arrangements for us to annually have the Black Cake Ball. And I think
Right.
it's something that Tony went to. And then they put the fees up, and I rang Sybil in a real state saying, we want to do this event, but we can't afford it. Is there anything you can do? She said, leave it with me, Mia. And she called me back. She says, I'll give you a meeting. You sit in, just nod when I tell you to nod, and we'll make sure that you don't have to pay exorbitant fees to have this event on.
Mm.
And it happened without any problem for the last couple of years before Marie Dyrampel, who used to run Youth Aid, died.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was
I
a
think
broker.
she was president of Friends of Sydenham Girls' School or something as well.
Goodness.
I don't know if you knew that, but yeah, she used to take regular assemblies at the school there. So that was another something she did. The thing I wanted to ask you is, I always heard that she had an amazing singing voice, but I've never heard her voice. But apparently that's how she ended up getting into the Methodist Church, because when she was growing up in Guyana, somebody heard her sing and they wanted her to join the Methodist Church. And she said, and so they offered, as part of joining the Methodist Church, they offered to give her singing lessons or something, like voice coaching lessons or something like that, which is how she ended up getting into the ministry.
Oh,
But,
I've never heard that. I mean, some of the my so-called soul sisters are on,
Yeah.
Adele and Catty. I don't know if any of you heard that story, and if you want to comment, either come online and comment or put it in the Q&A comments. It wouldn't surprise me. You know, there was a, you remember that dimple? Now, my mother used to say, well, my dear departed mother used to say, a dimple without, a devil within.
Ah.
My father had a dimple, but there you go.
I was going to say, I'm kind of spotting a slight dimple in your cheeks there. I don't know.
I think Jessica Huntley had a nice dimple too.
Yes, exactly.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, can we give a little shout out to Eric, because he's been a bit under the weather,
Yeah.
but to
Okay.
let him know the community's got his back. And yes,
Absolutely.
you too are a rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with this rock, I'm afraid.
He's got to confiscate it.
It actually looks a little bit scary. I mean, I'm glad they're all rocks, but just don't let go of it, Mia.
Yeah, exactly.
Here goes my computer. Now, I don't know if we have any other contributors, or if anybody who's online would like to say something, comment. Juanita, you might be able to see the Q&As better than I'm not sure.
Let me see. I don't think, yeah, no, we've answered any questions that were in the Q&A.
Okay.
So oh, here we go. I think we've got some more images
Oh, fabulous.
coming up.
What a happy. Ah, look at
Is
that.
she singing there? I wonder what she's singing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, lovely. Look at those.
Now, I did make a visit to see Sybil a few weeks ago when we were setting this up. She was unavailable, but she knew it was me because I left a mango behind and some hand wash. My calling card, that is. If I go to visit someone and they're not there, I like to leave them a little gift. So she said, thank you.
Is that her husband?
Yes.
How long ago did he pass? You know.
No, I don't know.
I'm
Actually.
not
Yeah.
sure. This looks like somebody's wedding, doesn't it?
Okay.
They're wearing all the nosettes and everything. This, I don't know whose wedding this is. There she is, the next one.
Mhm.
Looking her gorgeous self. She used to say that we must be related.
Was
On
she a
her-
South? Did she live in South London? Where was her
She lives in
home?
Lewisham.
She was in
Lewisham.
Lewisham.
Oh,
I'm
oh, that's
guessing
right.
there's so many Guyanese in Lewisham. I'm thinking the what was his name? Les Eitel was the mayoress, because she was a mayoress at one point as well, wasn't she, of Lewisham?
Gosh,
Yeah, yeah,
everything.
yeah. Yeah.
She did
Is
about
that-
everything, and she was really well known for her work, her kind of anti-racism kind of awareness within the Methodist leadership as well. So I think she did something.
At
I
all.
think they were called respecting human dignity workshops, that she used to run for the Methodist Church. And it became a compulsory element of training within the Methodist Church.
Yes.
It was, you know,
At her insistence.
at her insistance, exactly.
Absolutely. She little, but she Talawa.
She little but she Talawa, indeed.
Absolutely. Yeah, with that all-knowing and fiercely intelligent, committed and loving woman, basically. And you know what? I've now said it before, but I'm so pleased that we are praising her now while she's still here with us. You know?
Juliet, do you know about the role that she played within theatre? Because I think she did something as the director of Umojo, the Umojo Theatre Company. You know, I only know vaguely that she was involved in it, but I don't know to what extent.
Okay.
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Well, I've just opened my Bible because I carry that around with me sometimes, because you never know what you need to do. And I'm at Psalm 97, and it says, "Light shines on the righteous and joy on the upright in heart. Rejoice in the Lord, you who are righteous, and praise his holy name." And that's what her work has been about.
Well,
absolutely. Absolutely.
That
looks like oh my goodness, gosh, what's his name? Michael, the actor, and
Michael
the
Caine and
Chinese,
Shakira Caine.
that's it. With thank you.
Exactly, with Shakira, yes.
Yeah.
Of course, Shakira being Guyanese born.
Wow. So that, I guess that must have been at Goldsmiths College.
Yes. You know that Michael Caine's wife was Guyanese.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
She
Wasn't
was
she also a beauty queen or something?
Yes, she was a beauty queen.
She was a Guyanese beauty queen, yeah.
Guyana, something like that, yes. And she was in coffee adverts. That's how Michael Caine first saw her.
But I think Sybil went on to being one of the founder members of the Centre for Caribbean Studies at Lewisham. Sorry, not at Lewisham. Was it Lewisham? Yeah, Lewisham. She set up some sort of group for Caribbean studies in Lewisham, that ended up being incorporated into the program that they had at Goldsmiths College.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's just she just does so many little things that I'm being reminded of while we're sitting here. Yeah, that would be her as a Methodist minister.
No, a life well lived.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
You know, she was an influential woman, and she used her influence in many different spheres. I think we might have a question. I'm just.
Oh yes, let's have a quick peek. So Acrobat says, have you mentioned her career in fashion? Well, I mean, I've never heard of that. So
No,
that's a first for me.
Acrobat, where are you? Please call us quickly.
Enlighten us, Acrobat. Tell us what you know.
She actually says on here that she has a photograph of her mother modeling an outfit of her Acrobat's
Jessica.
mother. Yeah, Jessica modeling an outfit.
Modeling one of Acrobat. Please share that.
We beg you do.
I don't know if the audience can speak in this format.
Tony, can they? I think he's trying. Tony, can
I'm just gonna set that up now. Just give me 2 minutes or so.
Thank you. And then we still have to hear from her son, of course. From Sybil's son.
Her 10-year-old daughter, Marcia, they have a memorial in her name, and it's still active, I believe. It's supporting young ladies. What is it here? We have, we house young women aged 16 to 21 in one hostel, and 18 to 20 hostel. So it's still very active. Yeah.
Yes, Marcia, yes.
And what you won't know, because I'm always the miracle worker, I've been quietly collecting sheets, brand new sheets and towels for Sybil. So at some stage, I will deliver them to her. Because I thought, what would she appreciate at this stage? And I thought she'd appreciate receiving those.
So you take them onto the hostel then?
Yeah. So I'm in touch with the hostel. Yeah.
Okay.
I can book and talk now if she wishes to.
Oh, Acrobat?
Unmute yourself, Acrobat.
Can we unmute Akraba? Akraba is Jessica and Eric Huntley's daughter, and
Yeah.
educated in her own right. Akraba,
She just has to press the button on her end.
yeah, we've just asked you to unmute.
There
Ah,
you
well
go.
done.
I haven't got much to say at all. I'm really sorry.
Yes, you have. We're intrigued by hearing that Sybil was a fashion.
You're better off hearing from her children, but all I know is that Auntie Sybil used to make clothes, African inspired, African, material. And I have a picture of me and Mum actually modeling one of these outfits. And that is literally the extent of my knowledge. I'm sure.
Well done. Thank you.
That's how old were you when you were modeling?
Little. No idea.
You see, that's the career that you should have followed.
Can you share that photograph?
Oh, it's somewhere. It's deep in the archive.
Is it at the Huntley archive?
Where it belongs.
Is it with the LMA?
No, personal archives.
Is it your
Okay.
personal archive?
If you find it and you feel like showing it, that'd be lovely. How is Dad? How's Uncle Eric?
He's all right. He's here. He's listening.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Uncle Eric, we're thinking of you.
We're thinking of you.
We're glad that you're joining us. That's really lovely.
Yes.
I
It's
have to
so
say,
cool.
just to add to the because obviously with Akraba mentioning fashion, there's all sorts of strange, well, I always think of as really random things about Sybil. So one of them was she always came up with really innovative ways of fundraising. And so I don't know how many of you know, she was actually made a freeman of the London Borough of Lewisham in 1996. And in recognition of her service to people and community and so forth. But one of the things that I thought was really funny was she actually exercised her rights as a freeman of the borough by taking a flock of sheep over the
Yes.
Ladywell Bridge to raise funds for young homeless women. I mean, that's such a fantastic thing to have done, but so random. Like, I just,
Yes. It's so funny. I remember that. And that's one, I mean, God sake, anybody offering me a gong, because it will never happen. I would never, but the joy and the thought of being able to lead a flock of sheep across a bridge in London, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, and apparently it's something to do with some old laid down law in the Magna Carta, which is just, you know, however many hundreds of years old. So yeah, I just thought it was a very imaginative way of raising funds.
And she was very imaginative and very resolute. And we've just got a slide up showing where these gorgeous photographs, which we've just been looking at, there's an exhibition of photographs of lovely Sybil by Geraldine Walsh. And it's from the 13th to 15th of July at Lewisham Shopping Centre. Oh, last year. Oh, well, they should bring it back. That's all I can say. We need to see it again. Oh, well spotted. I didn't even see that.
Is there another question for us, Vinita?
Let's have a look. I think there is a fourth one. Oh no, it was just Akraba getting back. So she was just saying that she knows Auntie Sybil created African-inspired clothing, but she didn't have anything further to say on that. So there weren't any other questions in there.
I can tell you that there's also a film about her. There's a film about Miss Phoenix. It was made about maybe 20 years ago now. It's called Loving Hands. It's called Loving Hands, and the filmmaker is an Italian woman. I forget her last name. I'll find it in seconds or so. But yeah, there's actually a film made about her, which you can find. I think it might be on Vimeo now by an Italian filmmaker. I'll check the name in a second.
Okay. And perhaps you link that as well into the chat. That'd be brilliant. There she is. Where is this?
That's in Guyana. That's by the prison, no? That's
Durban
Street Prison.
Yes, Camp Street. That's right. The one. There was a huge fire there, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
which no longer exists.
I know. Horrendous.
Yeah.
Why?
Does anybody know anything about her early life in Guyana?
Juanita, just not the whole jail went up in flames.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
just a section.
Section. No, I mean, you asked the
If
question.
we got Joyce Trotman remembers her as her contemporary when she was in Guyana before she left to come to England. So if we got Joyce in, that will have solved our little jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
I
No, well,
just-
I only know that she was, I think, 9 when her mother died. I mean, I always had the understanding that she'd had quite a difficult childhood because she lived with her grandfather until he died when he was 12. And then I think she spent the rest of her life with her aunt and uncle, but didn't have a particularly good relationship with them. And that perhaps is what I just thought it was worth mentioning, because I think that's what nurtured her interest in ensuring that young people got the care and that they actually needed. You know, that's where her kind of interest in fostering children, in campaigning for the welfare of children, making sure that you know, children were really well cared for, came out of the fact that she hadn't been cared for as a child, you know, in those middling years. So, but yeah, I didn't really know much more than that, and I thought it might have been interesting if anybody knew a bit
I
more.
think the elders would have been able to open doors and information, but you know, whether we like it or not,
They're tired.
They're tired,
and we need to take the mantle. We need to grab the
no, that's right.
What the elders you know, even we've all had significant birthdays, Rod, you and I in particular.
Yes.
Pension birthdays, and what our colleagues say to us is, we are now the elders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you used to say back in the day, oh, my big sister or my big brother or my mom.
We are. Yeah.
That's us now.
That's it. Yeah.
That's why this, I mean, I have to give props to young Mia here.
Yeah.
Because this basically was her idea.
It was.
Yes, it was. And the sharing of tributes and information about people like Arif Ali, Herman Ousley, Ros Howells, Phoenix, Sybil Phoenix, and there's probably more that I've forgotten. I'm just her sort of straight person, you know, to the duo. But basically, it's an understanding that so much is not known about our own history here.
Yeah.
Pioneers, that we need to celebrate it.
That's why we exist as Guyana Speaks. We need to keep speaking about it. And Mia, I was sitting on the seawall in Georgetown when you contacted me, and I was sipping a Banks beer while thinking about doing this, and I didn't focus too good because I didn't relate it to Juanita.
He didn't tell me a thing about it. I learned about it from Mia, like the other day.
But, hey, we're glad we're here, and it was a nice cold bank.
Oh, it's good. It's nice. Yeah.
And just to say, I do have a badge I carry with me all the time, which says History Matters. I've had this badge for 20 years. And I take great joy in saying to people, it's not Black history, it's not white history, it's not Asian history, it's our history.
Yeah,
absolutely. About us and for us, yeah.
Right. But I have a question for all three of you now, because you're all saying that you're elders, which is my mother's voice is in the back of my head, and she's saying, does that mean that I now have to call you Auntie Juliet, Auntie Mia, and
you try
the Rod?
My nieces say I'm auntie to the world. They've been saying that
auntie
to me.
To the world.
Auntie to the world. And the running joke in my family, if you get in a lift with me, I should run a workshop.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, yeah.
You do not, Juanita. You do.
Sorry, Auntie Juliet, what did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Licks like peas. That's what I'm saying.
Who's this in the photograph? Do we know who this is in this image?
What's that?
No, I was asking who was in the photograph. I was just wondering who that looks like her daughter.
And it looks like her son as well.
Yeah, it looks like her son, doesn't it?
And we have got a tribute,
which we'll play just towards the end. But I think Tony might have this film ready for us.
How long? No, it's too long. How long is the film, Tony?
It's about an hour, but you can find it on Vimeo, Vimeo by Lucia Tambini. She meant to recognize.
Put it in the chat.
I did. It's in the chat already, so it's there.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so it's something for us to. So later on, when people have relaxed, they're they don't want to go outside. They might want to watch this.
Okay, so we have, I think, unless there are any Q&As anywhere. Oh, that's an amazing, impressive looking photographs. And there,
This must be
Where's
getting the freedom,
Freedom.
of Lewisham.
that's
yes.
her there in white at the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
How lovely. Gorgeous picture.
She would she have known people like Leslie Eitel?
Yes, she would have done. Yes, most
Okay.
definitely.
Definitely.
They would have worked together, I guess.
Rose.
Yes, Ross
Ross
Howes.
Howells.
Ross Howes is in the picture.
Yes, to the left, 3 to the right,
Yeah.
4 to the left, yeah. And yes, my goodness, all these people. Well, listen, we know that we have a tribute from her son.
Yes. So perhaps we should.
I think so, unless there's a chat or anything. There it is, the willing hands. Thank you. That's lovely with reflections for Lent.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank David Michael, because he put me in touch with the family and he's been there behind the scenes holding my hand as I try to get this event put together. And he was in Dominica at the time, so I appreciate it.
On the veranda.
On a veranda.
On the veranda. All right. Drinking a beer.
No, that was just you.
Yeah.
The rest of us were working, you know.
I know. Yeah.
But no, it's you know, we all agree it's so important that we pay
Absolutely.
tribute and honor those who are, and please God we do it whilst they're still here to share the fact that we love them so much.
And just to let people know, my Black History website, I'm bringing it back. It's come back as blackhistorymaker.co.uk. So do go online and have a look and give me feedback. blackhistorymaker.co.uk. I thought I'd do my shameless plug. And we, myself and Juliet and Tony, have an event coming up at the Phoenix Cinema. See what we've done there? Phoenix Cinema over at East Finchley on the 16th of July, which is a Sunday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Is that the right time, Tony?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and we have all, but we'll be live. So no Zoom business. We're going to be at a physical venue, and it's an opportunity to hear about the men and women in broadcasting and those who have made a difference and continue to contribute to telling our story by us and for us.
Yes, because earlier in the year, on International Women's Day, the BFI very kindly paid tribute to myself as a pioneering. When we get to this age, we're all pioneering. As a pioneering Black journalist, because I presented the UK's first Black news and current affairs TV program called Ebony. And I had some amazing people with me. I had Ronke Phillips, I had Gillian Joseph, I had Maxine Watson and Angela Ferreira, and the amazing Charlie Brinkworth Cuff from Galdem, who moderated. This time round at the Phoenix, the one that Mia just mentioned, it will be a look at not just Black women broadcasters, but broadcasters generally. And Mia and I, we're always planning, scheming different things. We're planning and scheming to do one about actors in the UK who've made a contribution to the world, you know, the thespian world in the UK. So look out for that one. But this one coming up with the Phoenix is definitely one for any of your young people who are interested in media, interested in journalism, presentation, broadcasting, and also those career people whose job it is to make sure that young people understand what's out there after, you know, post 16 or post 18. So it should be a really lovely afternoon.
While we stay here, Rod, what's the next Guyana Speaks event? Things everybody's plugging. Go for it.
Plug away.
Are you speaking about the one in September that I'm planning?
Well, no, I can tell you about the one I'm planning, but I thought we had the Stabroek stalls.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Well, yeah, we are doing a summer market. We're calling it Stabroek Stalls Summer Market, and it's going to be on the 22nd of July from 11 to 4 at the Draper Hall in Elephant Castle. Vendors, much like what we have for our border bazaar, hopefully will show up and sell their product. mostly Guyana focused. However, there may be a few others from the small islands and so forth. But we so far we've got food from Kaichur Kitchen.
Yes.
There's going to be tropical fruits. We've got
Yes.
Brother Prince that's going to be doing his water coconuts and so on.
Oh, yes.
Sell it to us, Rod.
Yeah. What about the wiri
doing the
pepper and the
pineapple.
casreep and whatnot,
Hey.
Rod?
Is somebody doing the pineapple and mango and apple in a bag with peppers?
Pine tarts,
Oh,
Solara, all of that.
All of that.
roti. Oh,
And-
yes.
Oh, it sounds like Rod's looking for something. He's looking for his list of wonderful things he's selling. While he gets that, I'd also mention that in August, for those people who are really creative and love workshops, I am going to be running something at Senate House that I'm doing in collaboration. Guyana Speaks is doing in collaboration with them. And that is in the library at Senate House. They found a whole bunch of letters from correspondence from San Bactini, which was a company that was based in Guyana during the period of slavery, pre and post slavery, and so in order to, and during the period that the company was in, had their business going, the Demerara uprising of 1823 happened. And of course, this is the 200th anniversary of that. So we're looking at the impact of the uprising on their business. And we've got somebody who's going to be doing a talk about the Demerara uprising. And then we've got in the afternoon a creative writing workshop that's going to be a response to the letters. So if anybody's interested in that, that will be on Saturday, the 19th of August. It's a free event and it will be running from 9 till 5.
And before we go to the video with Widrow, I want to close by saying, please go to 35 Church Street, Edgware, by Edgware Road Market, because there's a Caribbean front room there installed by myself and Michael Macmillan. So we did a call out in the community for furniture and we were able to get some. So and we've been doing some workshops where people will be able to come and have afternoon tea and have a chat and reminisce and talk about the front room and what it means to them. But don't forget that his book is out. And more importantly, let's get this video of Widrow up. And this is
I think Rod's trying to show us something in his hands.
So
Mia had the rock and you've got something.
Ooh,
what's this?
It looked like some weary to me.
Weary. Hold on.
So people going to have to guess how many wearies I have in a jar.
Not eat them. Just guess.
No. But I was fortunate to bring back enough. So from Guyana.
I'm supposed to be drying those out so I can plant them.
Well, you can plant a few, but not all of them.
I'm gonna eat the rest.
But anyway, that's the market. But let me just mention on the 20th of September, we will be having an event at Marlborough House in Pall Mall. Again, it is for the 1823 Demerara Rebellion remembrance. We've got a lovely panel. Alicia Trotz from Toronto. We've got Eulalie Burnham, and also the author of White Debt, Thomas Harding, and an ancestor of Prime Minister Gladstone, Charlie Gladstone. So it's going to be a great panel. Juanita's moderating it. And it will be... You
might mention that's particularly interesting because, of course, the Demerara uprising started on the Gladstone plantation of Success.
Yeah.
So and that's his
success. Yes.
Success, exactly.
So, now, Tony, do we have time to play this wonderful? Thank you.
I don't have a video from the person you just mentioned. I don't have a video for that person.
You can't find it?
I haven't got it.
It's her son, yeah. I sent it to you. You've got it.
Sybil's son?
Son?
No, what, a clip from Widrow?
Yeah. You want to play it?
Who's got that?
I haven't got it.
He wanted to thank everyone and, for doing this fabulous contribution to his mother's legacy. No? Tony is not there?
No, I definitely don't have that one.
you want to say it? Shall I send it to you again?
We're going to try and send that to you. It'd be lovely to end if we can with a child speaking, but if not, I'm assuming that you can add it to the Guyana Speaks. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could post it on our Facebook page or on our Twitter feed. So we could always do that.
He's not online, is he, Tony? Is he not here?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. You've had a busy old
Well,
day.
I would just say something that I've seen Woodrow. He was involved in something, a similar kind of event commemorating, you know, the pioneering life of Sybil. And he said something. He said, if I could end with something, it would be this. As she always says, don't wait for someone to do something. If you know what needs doing and you have the ability, then you should just do it. You don't need permission for somebody to do things, especially if it's about helping someone. And that's what Woodrow had said in another event similar to this one. So I think probably he may have said something
Similar.
Yeah, it's a similar sentiment.
Oh.
Someone said, how about Carmen Munro tribute? That's all in hand for when we do our special actors tribute, which will be coming soon.
Soonish.
And now that my Black History Maker website is up, we'll be carrying things on YouTube and we'll be carrying this interview today. So I'm back. I'm back, everyone.
Mia is back. Black History Maker is back.
Yeah. I'm taking my rock with me.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, thank you.
I think it's at this point that we thank everyone that's contributed, both live and those who sent messages, and to say a special thank you to Tony, who battled through the heat and a walk to get here. And we're ever grateful to Tony Warner from Black History Walks, a man who very seldom speaks, but boy, is he dynamic. And I think he's holding the rock.
Yes.
And also the work he does at BFI.
Yes, amazing. I mean, it was because of him.
Oh, yeah, African Odysseys is exactly as it says on the tin. It's amazing.
And it was basically because of him that this lovely tribute was done to me as a pioneering journalist, and that the one will be done at the Phoenix. So keep an eye on Tony's website, lots of information coming there. And of course, thank you very much to our host and hostess, Guyana Talks.
Speaks, we speak and talk and walk.
Right, I'm talking, you're speaking. Oh Lord, my brain.
Rod does the walking, I do the speaking,
the talking.
And you do the talking.
Exactly. Somehow we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Like Guyana Speaks.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rod.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think you all deserve your dinner.
All right. Well, bye, everyone. Thanks so much.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Sybil, we salute you.
Bye.